Hi, everybody. I'm Elaine Mahon. I think I know most people here today, but I'm the head of membership, quality and impact in IDEA. And yeah, it's my job, I suppose, to just set the background and a bit of the context or the history of this work in IDEA before we really jump into the launch of the theory of impact itself. And it's important to do that because I suppose it will set the kind of scene for the work that we've done to date. And it's also really important to acknowledge the huge amount of work that went into where we are now over the last decade or more, from IDEA staff, but also from many of the members, and many of the faces on the screen today have been involved in different aspects. And I suppose where we are now is really the result of a huge collective effort, with different people stepping in at different points. So that's why I suppose, yeah, we just want to explain a little bit how we got here. So I've been working in IDEA since 2013 and kind of came into the role of capacity development, which Anya now does around 2016. And at that stage, I suppose our capacity building was really focused on sort of training around impact measurement. And we did a lot of work with members. There was training around monitoring and evaluation. There's a lot of training that continues on things like results frameworks for GCE and for development education. But this whole area of measuring results was really a focus of our capacity development work in IDEA. It was successful to some extent, but I suppose we started to realize that people could be upskilled in some of the methodologies and approaches to measuring results, but trying to really nail what the impact of our work was really hard to do through the traditional training approach. At the same time, we've also had a quality and impact working group in IDEA for probably over 10 years, maybe 15 years, and that's made up of a variety of members who were very active at different times in the history of this work, and particularly in engaging with Irish Aid. So Irish Aid had something called a performance measurement framework that was part of their previous development education strategy, and some of you might remember that. And there was a lot of engagement between the quality and impact working group and Irish Aid on that work. Then since 2017, we had the development of a code of good practice for development education. And while that's very separate to impact measurement, because it's a self-reflection on your work, it doesn't involve kind of, the opinion of learners or kind of the measuring the results of your work. It really helped us to kind of distinguish between quality of GCE and impact. And as we refined our approach to quality, I think then our approach to impact measurement also became clearer. And what the code of good practice process kind of showed us was that there's a real strength in doing something slowly over a period of time with as many members involved as possible, and testing it and piloting it as we go. And hopefully you'll see that approach reflected in the theory of impact process that we represent today. I think one thing that's been coming through really clearly, and I mentioned it briefly, but in terms of impact measurement, there were the huge challenges of the time frame of projects. So many IDEA members were receiving, grants for specific projects for 12 months, and that has changed to 24 and 36 months. But even then, it's very difficult to measure impact within that time frame. And also another thing that we noticed is that I suppose trying to look at the impact of GCE beyond a single intervention. And actually, when we see learners who engage in GCE or development education across multiple settings at multiple times in their lives, that actually that's a huge strength to the work that we do. And we should be really glad that the same learners are being targeted from lots of different organizations and projects. So that kind of brought us then to, we are the strategic partner for Irish Aid. I should have mentioned that, for capacity development of the GCE sector in Ireland. And our current strategic partnership program runs from 2022 to 2026. So next year will be the final year of this 5-year program. And a core part of that program has been the idea to develop a consistent approach to measuring impact among the sector.